Alright, TM5281523314. Tactical Manual Operator Units, Intermediate Direct Support, Intermediate General Support Maintenance Manual for Engine Diesel Manual. For an engine diesel Cummins model NTA 855L4NSN 28150121600939. Copyright 1983, Cummins Engine Company Incorporated, used by permission. Headquarters of the Department of the Army, July 25th, 1986. Headquarters, Department of the Army, Washington, D.C., 25th, 1986. Technical Manual number 52815233114. Operators Unit, Direct Support, Intermediate General Support, Maintenance Manual, Engines, Diesel, Cummins Model NTA 855L4NSN 28150121600939. Reporting errors or recommendation improvements. You can help improve this and any mistake that you've done in any way with the improve the procedures. Plus, please let us know. Make a letter of the DA Form 2028 recommending change to publication blank forms DA 2028 located located on the back of this manual. Commander, U.S. Army Troops Support Command, Lieutenant AMSTR MCTS 4300 Goodfellow Boulevard, St. Louis, Missouri 631201798, and reply will be furnished directly to you. Operating instructions. Pre-starting instructions. Starting the engine. Engine warm-up. Engine speed. Engine exhaust. High-altitude operation. Engine shutdown. Cold weather protection. Industrial fire pumping. Engines. Maintenance operation schedule. Check C. A checks daily. A checks weekly. B checks. C checks. D checks. Sectional maintenance checks. Specifications: torque, lubricating oil, grease, fuel, 011, coolant, torque specifications, troubleshooting description, and chart index. Part 1, Operation and Maintenance. Okay, Operation and Maintenance Manual, Cummins Diesel Engine, Agricultural, Construction, Industrial Fire Pump, Logging, Mining, Railway, Generator. Copyright 1980, Cummins Engine Company, Bulletin 337905209, printed 10/80. This engine operation manual now of the repair manual of the design Cummins engine will make it possible to replace the worn and damaged out parts of the new rebuilt parts minimum of the downtown contact with the human distributed for the replacement as they are equipped to have the informed and trained personnel to perform the service. If your shop is properly equipped to perform either maintenance or replacement or complete engine rebuild, contact the nearest Cummins distributor to obtain available repair manuals arranged and for training or personnel. For modification of the engine, check the data plate letter and number code includes the breathing natural aspirated except when letter T is for turbocharged present cubic engine displacement application maximum rated horsepower. NTA 855370 V903 320 N4 valve head V-type engine turbocharger 903 cubic engine displacement. A aftercooled 370 maximum rated horsepower, 320 maximum rated horsepower. The engine operator must assume the responsibility of the engine care while the engine is being operated. There are comparatively few rules which operators must observe to give the best practice for the Cummins diesel engine. New and rebuilt general of all application. New and rebuilt engine break-in. The Cummins engines running the dyno meters. Before being shipped from the factory and ready to put in the work application, the emergency fire truck, the rail car application, general set, and other applications of the engine can be put into work, but the operator would have an opportunity to establish condition for the optimum safe service limit and life during an initial 100 hours in service. One, operating as much as possible, 3/4 throttle with load range available, avoiding operation for long periods, and engine idle speed for the maximum horsepower level in excess of 5 minutes. Developing habit watching the engine instrument closely during the operation, letting the up on the throttle if the oil temperature reaches 200 degrees Fahrenheit, the cooling temperature exceeds 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Operating a power requirement that allows the acceleration governed speed with the condition when require more power. Check the oil level every 8 to 10 hours during the break-in period. New and rebuilt engines pre-starting instruction first time. Priming the fuel system. Fill the fuel filter with a clean number 2 diesel fuel oil, meeting the specification outlined in section 3. Remove the fuel pump suction line, wet and gear pump gears from clean lubricating oil. Check the filth of the fuel tanks. For injector of the valve adjustment have been distributed to maintenance work checks to be sure that have been properly adjusted before starting the engine. Priming the lubricating system on turbocharged engine. Remove the oil inlet line with the turbocharger. Pre-lubricate the bearing and adding 2 to 3 ounces of clean lubricating oil. Connecting the oil supply line. Fill the crankcase with the L or low mark on the distep. See lubrication oil specifications. Section 3. Remove the plug of the lubricating oil cross over the NH or NT855 engines. Figure 1-1. Remove the plug from the head of the lubricating oil filter house of the V engine. Figures 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 1-5, 1-6 on the KTA 1150 engines. Remove the plug from the front of the oil cooler housing. Figure 117. Figure 1-1, lubricating system priming point on the NT855 CID engine. Lubricating oil system priming point. Alright, figure 1-2, lubricating system priming point for the V903 CID engine. Figure 1-3, lubricating system priming point for the VVT555 CID engine. 1-4, the K21902 lubricating system priming point K2A2300 engine. And also the 1-5 lubricating system priming point KTA 3067 engine. Caution: do not prime the engine lubricating with the system from the bypass filter connect a hand or motor-driven priming pump line for the source of cleaning operate lubricating oil with the plug boss in the housing. Priming until the 30 psi minimum pressure is obtained. Crankcase engine at least 15 seconds with the fuel shut-off valve closed and disconnect to prevent the starting when maintaining the external oil pressure at the minimum of 15 psi. Remove the external oil supply. Replace the plug. 7. From the bill of the crankcase to the H or high mark on the dipstick with the oil meeting specification listed in Section 3. No change in the viscosity of the type of the knee with the newly rebuilt engines. A dipstick of the oil gauge located on the side of the engine. Figure 1-8. The dipstick H for the high and 1 and L low for the 2. For the level of the mark indicated lubricating oil supply with the dipstick must be kept within the oil pan and the engine which was originally supplied. Cummins oil pans with the differ in capacity with a different type of the installation oil pan and part number. Check the dipstick calibration if in doubt with the Cummins distributor. Figure 1-6, lubrication system priming point V1710 engine. Lubricating system priming point CTA CID engine. 1-8, checking engine oil operating instructions. 1 and 2, low and high mark. Can verify that you have proper oil pan and dipstick calibration. Check the hydraulic governor. Make engines use stationary power applications equipped with the hydraulic governor and full pumps so that you use the lubricating oils and energy medium save the weight of the used engine or same weight as the used in the engine. Oil level in the governor sump must be at the full mark of the dipstick. Engine application for the cold environmental should be lightweight with the oil since governor sump. Checking the air connections. Check the air connection with the compressor for the air equipment. You for the air cleaner for the air crossover to ensure that they are all secure and have no damage. Check the engine coolant supply. Remove the radiator with the heat exchanger cap to check the engine coolant supply. Coolant as needed. Make visual leaks. Check for the leaks. Open the water filter. Shut off valves. Starting the engine. Start required for the clean air with the fuel being supplied with the combustion chamber in proper quantity at the correct time. Normal starting procedure. Warning before starting to be sure that everyone in the clear of the engine. Equipment. The fuel system is equipped with the overspeed stop. Press the reset button before attempting to start the engine. On units equipped with the air activated pre-lube device to open the air valve to activate the piston and the pre-lube device which will lubricate all the moving parts in the engine. Alright, note on engines equipped with the oil pressure safety valve, safety switch, hold the fuel bypass switch in the start position until the engine oil pressure reaches 7 to 10 psi, then move it into the run position. Set the throttle for idle speed and disengage the driving unit. Protect the turbocharger during the startup, but not opening with the throttle and accelerating above 1,000 RPMs until the idle speed of the oil pressure registers on the gauge. Open the manual on 3. Open the manual with the fuel shutdown valve. If so, if the equipped electronic shutdown valves operated with the switch is turned on, a manual override knob provides the forward end with electrical shutdown valve allows the valve to be open in case of an electrical power failure. You turn fully clockwise. Return in position after the electrical repair. Figure 1-9 using a manual override knob. So it says pull the compression release if equipped with the press of the start button with the turner switch key with the start position after 3 to 4 seconds cranking, closing the compression release and continue with the crank until the engines fire. Causing to prevent permanent cranking motive damage, do not crank the engine for more than 30 seconds continuously. If the engine does not fire within the first 30 seconds, wait 1 or 2 minutes before recranking. Initial starting after cool oil or filter changes after the engine has run for a few minutes. Shut down and wait 15 minutes for the oil to give the drying back into the pan. Check the oil level again and the oil necessary to bring the oil level to the high mark on the dipstick. The drop of the oil then is due to the absorption of the oil filters. Never operate the engine with the oil level below the low level mark and above the high level mark. Cold weather starting. The water jacket heater with the recommended for the standing of the generator set of applications installed with the cold climate preheater with the glow plug system that supply with the heat to the cylinder show that the compression temperatures are sufficient to ignite this fuel. To aid the starting of the engine when the temperature is 50 degrees Fahrenheit below and the air intake of the preheater is available. The preheater equipment consists of the hand priming pump, the pump of fuel into the intake manifold switch at the turn of the glow plug, the electrically heated with the battery. Fuel burns into the intake manifold and heats the intake air. Warning: do not use vapor in conjunction with a preheater to do so. Cold results in fire. To keep the preheater with the cold starting. To set the throttle in idle position, turn the glow plug toggle switch into the on position. The red indicator light must be on. After the red light has been on for 20 seconds, start the cranking of the engine. As soon as the engine begins rotating, operate the preheater priming pump to maintain 80 to 100 psi. Fuel pressure using the primer before the 20-second interval will wet the glow of the plug with preventing heating. If the engine does not start within 30 seconds, stop the cranking within 1 to 2 minutes and repeat the cranking operation. After the engine starts, pump the primer slowly to keep the engine idle smoothly. Cold weather, this may require 4 to 5 minutes longer. Do not accelerate the engine when the engine is warmed up, so it does not fail between the primary strokes. Stop the pumping and close the lock of the primer. Turn off the glow plug toggle switch with the red indicator light with the go out. If the engine goes no indication starting during the first 3 full strokes with the preheater pump with the turbo, check the intake of the manifold for the heat. If there's no heat, check the electrical wiring. If the wiring is all right, remove the 1/8 of an inch pipe plug 1 figure 10 from the manifold near the glow plug and close the glow plug, manually switch for the 15 seconds, observe the glow plug through the 1/8 inch plug hole. The glow plug should be white hot, and if not, connecting to the wire 6 to 12 volts as you the source, check for the amperage, if it should be 30 to 32 at minimum. If the glow plugs are alright, check the manual switch and resistor if used and replacement is necessary. Figure 110 glow plug inspection hole, number 1, right? Note: the preheating pump, the priming pump, the switches resistor are located with an instrumental panel and are to be checked during the starting of the engine starting. The cold started aid approved with the using the Cummins engines has been based on the upon starting aid capabilities negative 25 degrees below zero, 25 below zero Fahrenheit. It does not attempt the vapor compound with the type of starting aids near the heat when the open flame on the engines equipped with the glow plug system. Manually operated valve. The manual operated valve illustrated in Figure 1.1 includes the valve body assembly, 6 clamp, 2 nylon tube, the fill cylinder, 1 atomizing fitting, pull control, and note must be ordered with separately standard pull throttle control capable to use the actually manual valve is desired. Manual desired, Figure 11. Electrically operated valve. The electrically operated valve, Figure 112, includes the valve body, 7, the 90-degree elbow, the 5 clamp, the 2, the push-button switch, the 3, nylon tube, 3, the thermostat, and the mounted with the engine exhaust manifold cuts out the valve with the sensing manifold heat with the engine is running with the parts of the catalog with the fuel cylinder 1 and the fuel atomizing fittings 4. The fittings must be ordered the separate as required. Installation, the Figure 112 shows the electrically operated valve. Installation recommendation: the atomizer fittings must be mounted with the engine air with the intake of the manifold inlet connection to provide an equal distribution starting fluid over each of the cylinder. The atomizer hole, if they're 180 degrees apart, must be mounted so that the spray is injected a long way over the manifold. Incorrectly installed, but the spray goes crosswise over the manifold. Recommended starting technique: use the fleet guard of the starting aid. Set the throttle idle to disengage the driving unit. Make sure the gears are in neutral. Open the manual with the fuel shutdown valve or electric shutdown valve, whichever to use. The engine start while cranking and apply the meter amount of the starting fluid until the engine is idle smoothly. Use starting fluid without metering equipment. Spray starting fluid into the air cleaner intake, which the second man cranks while the second man cranks the engine. Warning: never handle the start fluid near an open flame. Never use the preheater flame with the thrower equipment. Do not breathe the fumes. That use the too much cost will cause excessively high pressure detonation and overspeed the engine. 2 starting aid fumes will be drawn into the air intake manifold and cold engine should start without difficulty. Warning: the fuel and oil volatile fuel cold starting aids are not to be used with the underground mining and tunnel operation if the engine is equipped with the local USA Bureau of Mines inspector for use starting age. Engine warm up. The engine is started, but it takes a while to get the lubricating oil film reestablished between the shaft of the bearings, between the pistons and liner. The most favorable clearance between the moving parts are obtained only after all the engine parts have been reached normal operating temperature. Avoid seizing pistons and liners running of the drive shaft and drive bearings, and by bringing the engine running at the operating speed gradually as it warms up. On some emergency equipment, such as the fire pump engines, warm-up may not be necessary due to the equipment being housed inside of the heating building for the engine starting with a parasitic load such as the fire pump. The coolant temperatures must be a minimum of 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Engine speed. All Cummins engines are equipped with the governors to prevent speed with excess of the minimum of the predetermined low speeding rate. The governor has two functions. First, to provide with the fuel needed with the idling when the throttle is in idle position. Second, to override the throttle with the shut-off of the fuel and the engine RPM to exceed the maximum rate speed. Speed listed in Table 1.1 for engines rated with the maximum RPM and fuel rate. Note the engines of the applications are applied to lower the maximum rated speed. Check the serial date play power generator unit with the presets to operate at a specific governing RPM. Alright, your NTH 855R and 855L are 2100, all NH and NHG 2300 VT 903 and 2600 VT 903, 2400 V37 378 VO 504 and V55 3000 and 3300 V1710 V17L 2100 KTL KT 1150 and 2100 KTA 1150 2100 KT 2300 2100 maximum rated 20 KT 2300 maximum rated 2000 KTA 3067 2100 oil temperature gauge normally should read between 180 to 220 degrees Fahrenheit 225 degrees Fahrenheit under the full load conditions. Oil temperature of 240 degrees Fahrenheit for the short period does not cause an alarm. Caution: any sudden increase of the oil temperature which could not cause the load to increase, the warning of the possible mechanical failure should be investigated at once. During the warm-up period, apply with the load gradually until the oil temperature reaches 140 degrees Fahrenheit. While the oil cools and down, not do a good job of lubricating, continuously operating with a long period of the idle with the oil temperature below 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 140 degrees Fahrenheit may cause the crankcase dilution acid of the lubricating oil with quickly accelerate engine wear. Water temperature 160 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit is the best assurance for the working parts of the engine has been explained evenly and most favorably. Oil clearance's maximum engine coolant temperature should not exceed 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep the thermostat in the engine during the summer and the winter. Avoid long periods of idling. Take the necessary steps to keep the water temperature up to a minimum of 160 degrees. If necessary for the cold weather, use the radiator shut off the cover of the part of the radiator to prevent overcooling. Oil pressures and new engine oil pressures is at 220 degrees Fahrenheit, 225 degrees Fahrenheit. Oil temperature listed in Table 1. Alright, NHT for minimum idle speed 8, 40, 70, mid camp 11, 8, and 4, 25, 45, VT 30, 50, 903, 903, maximum idle speed 5, 40, 65, VT 37, and VT 504, VT and 555, 10. Idle speed 5090, VNT, VTA 1710, 15, 5090, KT 1150, KT 2300 at 2100 RPMs, 15, maximum idle speed 24, 4570, KTA 2300, 1500, 1800, 1950 RPMs, maximum idle speed 15, 40, 70, KTA 306 at 7, 2100 RPMs, 20 maximum idle speed, 45, 70 rated speed, KTA 306, 7, 1500 to 1800 RPMs, maximum idle speed, 15, 40, 70. No, individual engines may vary with above the normal pressure. Observe the record of the pressure of the engine is never observed as a guide with the indication of the progressive engine condition. High oil pressure during the start does not cause the alarm. For the record purposes, the readings are more accurate with the reliable taken immediately. Oil change high altitude. Operating some engines, particularly naturally aspired, lose the horsepower when they operated with the high altitude because the air tend to burn with as much of the fuel as sea level. The loss is about 3% for each 1,000 feet with the altitude above the sea level. The naturally aspirated engine operating the engine with the lower power with the requirement of the high altitude prevents smoke overfueling. Power takeoff of the pump. Power takeoff the application with the PT Type G with the VS fuel pump. The VS fuel pump governor level is used with the charge with the standard governor speed with the engine rated with the speed, the intermediate with the power takeoff speed when changing the standard speed range with the power takeoff speed with the engine idling on the start and standard throttle operating as follows. To place the VS speed control lever in the operating position, lock the standard throttle in the full open position. Engine then engage the power takeoff to return the standard throttle to the disengaged power takeoff to return the standard throttle to the idle position. Locate the V-speed control lever in the maximum speed position. Engine shutdown. Idle engine a few minutes before shutting down. It's important that the idle engine 3 to 5 minutes before shutting down and allowing the lubricating oil with water to carry heat away from the combustion chamber, the bearings and shaft, etc. This is especially important with the turbocharged engine. The turbocharged contains the bearing and seal that are subject to high heat and with the combustion exhaust gas. While the engine is running, the heat is carried away with the oil circulation, but the engine is stops suddenly. The turbocharger temperature may rise as much as 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This result with extremely high may be seized with the bearings and loosening oil seals. Do not idle engine for the excessive long period. The long period for the idling are not good for the engine because of the combustion chamber. The temperature drops so low the fuel may not burn complete with this will be covered with the carbon clog the injector spray hole with the piston rings and may result in the stuck valve and the engine cool temperature becomes too low. Raw fuel will wash from lubricating oil with the cylinder while dilute with the crankcase of oil, so all the moving parts of the engine will suffer the poor lubrication. If the engine is not being used, shut it down. Turn off the switch of the opposition shut down with the engine. The engine can be shut down complete with the turning off the switch and the installation. Equipped with the electrical shutdown valve, the turning of the manual, the shutdown valve, the knob, the turning off the switch which controls the electrical shutdown valve to stop the engine unless the override button of the shutdown valve has been locked in the open position. The manual override on the electrical shutdown is being used. Turn the button with the full counterclockwise and to stop the engine. Refer to the normal starting position. The valve cannot be reopened with the switch until after the engine comes to a complete stop unless the rapid restart valve is installed. Caution, never leave the switch key with the overriding button with the valve open on the running position when the engine is not running. The overheated tank will allow the fuel to drain into the cylinders covered with a hydraulic lock. Stop engine immediately if any parts fails. Particularly all failures given some of the warning operated before all the parts fail with the ruin of the engine. Many engines are saved to cover the alerts the operator with the head of the warning signal, suddenly drop of the oil pressure, unusual noise, and immediate shutdown of the engine. Cold weather protection. Cold weather operation may use the permanent type of the antifreeze with the rust inhibitor additive recommended in Section 3. Drain the cylinder block for the heads on all the engines operating the petty cowl for the removing of the drain plugs as shown in Figure 113, 1 through 110 to 119. And if any of the air compressor 120 with the heat exchanger or other water-cooled accessories is open with the petty cowl drain, with failure to properly drain the engine accessories may cause serious damage during the freezing weather. Immersion type of the water oil filters are available for the engine used for the cold weather operations to maintain the temperature for the permanent engines and to operate with the full load at startup. Figure 113, cooling system drain points for the NT855 CID engine, cooling system drain points for the oil cooler side of the BT903 CID engine, and also the C115 and the cooling system drain point left of the bank side VNVT55 CID engine. The figure 16 is the cool drain point with the VVT 1710 engine. Figure 17 cooling system, the drain points of the KTI 1150 CID engine. Cooling draining point for the KTA 2300 drain system. Figure 119 cooling drain point with the KTA 3067 engine. Two-cylinder air compressor coolant drain. Engine operating in the cold weather. Satisfactory performance of the diesel engine operating in low ambient temperature conditions required the modification of the engine surrounding the equipment operating proactive for the maintenance receive with the colder temperatures and count with the greater amount of the modification required for the yet will be that within the modifications applied for the engine will still be capable of operating with warmer climates without excessive changes. The following information provided by the engine owner to operate the maintenance personnel on how the modifications can be applied to get the satisfactory performance of the diesel engine and 3 basic objectives to be accomplished. Reasonable starting characteristics followed by practical depending on the warming up of the engine and unit of the installation which is intended for the possible of external influences. 3. The modification maintains satisfactory operation temperature minimum increase the maintenance of the equipment accessory. Satisfactory engine temperature does not maintain high maintenance for the possible result of the due increase of the engine where poor performance formulation, excessive carbon, varnishes, and other deposits, special provisions that overcload the low temperature of the definite necessary within the air change for the warmer climate that normally require for the minimum of revisions. Most of the accessory ships designed in such a way that they can be disconnected so there's little effect on the engine in the ways which they are not in use. 2 most commonly used associated with the preparation equipment of low temperature operation, winterization, Arctic specification, winterization of the engine or components starting the operation are possible in the lowest temperatures and being encountered require the use of the correct materials, proper lubrication, low temperature lubrication oils, protection of low temperature air and the metal temperature does not change with the rate of the heat dissipation effect of the fuel properly graded for the lowest temperature. Heat to be provided income of the increase with the engine block of the component with the temperature minimum of negative 25 degrees Fahrenheit and the start with the lowering temperature proper exceeding external heating source available with electrical cable for the operating with the lowest expected temperatures. Arctic specification required for the design material with the specification components necessary for the satisfactory engine and operates for the extreme low temperature of the negative 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Contact with the human engine company incorporated with the equipment the manufacturer to obtain the special items required. Caution, anti-leak antifreezers are not recommended using the human engines, although the antifreeze are chemically compatible with DCA water treatment. The anti-leak agents that may clog the coolant filters and render them in effect. Fire pump engines are built with applied with under the conditions set down with the agency under the right of the laboratory. They are put in part of the originally supplied with not, but deviated without the qualifying agency approval. The following instructions are those special items necessary for the application should be used with that conjunction with the previously stated. Initial startup note: the contact operating personnel responsible for the fire protection system before starting training approval to service and repair after retaining both the obtain the authorized signature for the acceptance, the removal of the heat exchanger cap, to check the fail of the engine coolant supply, open the water filler inlet and outlet valve to re-lubricate with the engine with the oil meeting with specification MIL L 46152 and viscosity of 1040 NW30 with a weight. This includes removal of the turbocharger and inlet of the turbocharged engine with the pre-lubricate the housing, adding 2 to 3 ounces of the clean engine lubricating with the clean. Check the crankcase oil level of the fill to the high of the mark of the diff tip to remove the fuel pump solenoid, leave with the crank of the engine with the bolt of the cranking cycle. If the engine is equipped with the vernier throttle with the place in the idle position, if not placed with the MVS throttle with the idle position on turbocharged model with the delay cylinder may be disconnected at the block with the block opening plug. 7. Reconnect the fuel solenoid lead and start with the engine run at idle speed. 7. The lubricating oil pressure has been established normally 6 to 8 seconds. Some automatic controllers release the lubricating oil pressure higher than normal pressure than 600 RPM idle, with increasing the idle to 800 to 900 RPM with the conditions encountered. All turbocharged engines should be set with the 800 to 900 idle RPMs idle. Continue to operate the engine for 3 to 5 minutes of review all the system, then leaks with unusual conditions corrected as required. Stop the engine, install the ST1224 adapter. Check the crankcase oil fill with the fill it to the high mark with the start the engine, adjust for the overspeed, remove the ST1224 and replace the original adapter, clean the raw water stream with the start the engine, or adjust the operating speed, adjust for the raw water pressure regulator. Engine is not ready for the normal operation. Normal operation during the normal operation would include the checking the fueling, lubricating oil, coolant, and correcting any leaks, unusual conditions as required. Check the coolant and oil heaters to ensure that at least at 120 degrees Fahrenheit water temperature has been maintained. Manually start the engine used for the prescribed starting procedure. Operate the engine with the prescribed period of time, the 5 minutes after stabilization for the coolant temperature. Should the engine down, use the normal test shutdown procedures. Fire pump engines overspeed switch adjustment if engine models. The speed switch required for the overspeed protection fire pump, the speed engine required for the high speed for the overspeed adjustment. All engines are now being shipped to adjust for the maximum overspeed. With the following overspeed adjustment are about 20% above the rated engine speed. An adapter ST1224 with a 2-to-1 ratio speed switch with the drive only with the figure 121 available for the drive with the speed with the switch at twice the engine speed. This tool is when installed and played with the existing adapter permits the adjustable made to the speed with a slightly over all 1/2 engines and pump speed that maintains the pump speed well within the safe speed range while the adjustments are being made. Engine overspeed, the V738 F1 1750 2200 or 2100 264 overspeed. The V378 F2 the 24 to 3300 rated speed, 288 to 396 overspeed. The V504 and F1 1750 to 2200 overspeed, rated speed, 2100 to 26400. Anyways, those are the engine speed overhaul overspeeds. Adjusting the procedure, remove the present tacho beneath the drive adapter, install the service tool SC1224, the input position for the standard driven adapter, connect the tachometer over the stop switch for the SC1224 tool. The overspeed stop switch cable must be connected to the short adapter connection, figure 124. Start the engine warming, operating temperature, start the engine speed over 1/2 the desired for the engine shutdown speed as indicated with the tachometer. 1 is the SC1224 adapter. Online engine model of this can be accomplished with adjusting the vernier throttle with the control of the medium duty V engine for the speed with adjusting that must be made with adjusting the governor idle the maximum speed screws. The idle screw is housed at the front of the MVS mag governor with the maximum speed screw is mounted with the MVS governor with the by bracket, and on the left hand side of the fuel pump of the engine slowdown accomplished by the turning of the idle speed screw clockwise, turning the maximum speed screw in the clockwise direction and increase the engine speed, reverse the procedure. Set the single element speed switch. Remove the lock wire with the set screw on the side of the switch. Loosen the 3 set screws to rotate the cover clockwise to decrease the trip speed until the switch actuates the stop of the engine. Secure the set screws to replace the locking wire. On manual reset mode, reactivate the switch and pushing the reset button on the top of the switch. Set the dual element speed switch. Caution, do not break the removal of the lock wire. Remove the round head with the dust. Cover the screw marked 2 on the top of the switch, and then insert the 1/16 of an inch hex Allen wrench into the adjusting screw located just before the screw surface of the cover. Reset button, high speed, for high speed switches, the common terminals, the high speed switch terminal, low speed switch terminal, C1 and C2, internal wire diagram. Turn counterclockwise to lower the engine shutdown speed. To turn clockwise to raise engine with the shutdown speed. Do not turn the adjusting screw more than 3 to the revolution in either direction from the factory setting. Do not attempt to set the dual element switch in the same manner as the single element switch. Replace the dust cover screw with removed in step A with above with all the overspeed, but the switch must be manually reactivated with the switch by pushing the reset button on the top of the switch. Replace the service dual ST1224 with the original driver adapter reconnected cables. If the stop crank adjustment is required, do not use the ST1224 adapter. Replace with the standard adapter is effective adapter to affect the adjustment. Fire pump and pumping engine over the operating speed adjustment. All Cummins fire pump engines will be shipped and adjusted with all speed tables of 1.4 unless supplier approval has been established with the specific seat. Final operating speed adjustment should be made at the time of the surface inspection to obtain required fire pumping's operating speed. Speed adjustment must be made with the veneers throttle with the fuel position in all systems. All the system fire with the pumping operating of this rate with the condition all speed range with the NT and V12 models that are available with adjusting the VS high-speed adjusting screw figure 124 and 123 and 124. Table 1.4 of the fuel engine pumping over operating speed, the engine model, fuel pump code, fuel factory adjusting speed, and the maximum operating speed. The screw requires a 1/8 of an inch Allen wrench for the adjuster, figure 123 of the adjusting engine speed, and also 124 governor adjusting screw. The adjustment made by loosening 7/16 of an inch locking nut with the backing the screws out with the increase of the engine speed through the full speed range for the B378 V5041. 504 F1 and F2 models require the two different calibrated fuel pumps. One pump code with previous speed between 1700 and 2300 RPMs. The different pump code is required for the speed between 2400 and 3300 RPM with the required speed on these models similar obtained with the MSV adjustable calibrated range indicated above. That is normally prohibited the UL and FM to change with the engine rating for the changing fuel pumps of any model with the fire pump to engines. In the event of the fuel pump build, the pump must be calibrated to the original code, and any deviation would be a violation of the insurance agency's approval. All right, your industrial fire pump engine maintenance schedule, equipment number, the mechanic time, the spent, the part order, the engine serial number, the hours, calendar, check the performance date. Cummins miles, diesel fire engine, pump engine, check the daily, check the engine operating, check the oil level and coolant, check the engine lubricating oil and coolant, the heater, the oil bath cleaner and oil level. Visually inspect the engine for the damaged heat leaks and loosen the frayed belts. Repeat the daily check the air cleaner, clean the pre-cleaning dust planning, and check with the restriction add indicator the clean chart and clean change for the air cleaning element. Change the oil bath cleaner, oil drain water sediment and from the fuel tanks and fuel filters. Check the raw water drainer. Check the starting battery. Start the engine and check for the unusual noises. B, the check repeat daily and daily weekly. Check engine oil and check the fuel filters. Oil full of full flow. Fuel filter. Check the oil coolant. Check the engine coolant. The DCA concentration level to add. Make up the DCA chain for the element. Change the clean and change for the crankcase breather. Clean the oil bath air cleaner by the tray screen. Repeat A and B, check. Adjust the valve and the injector for the clean oil bath and air cleaner. D, repeat checks A, B, and C. Clean the calibrator, injector, fuel pump. Check then and rebuild the replace the following assembly: turbocharger, vibration damper. Rebuild and replace the following water assemblies: water pump. Seasonal fall. Clean the flush and cooling system. Replace the hoses required. Check the cold start and thermal aids. Clean the air electrical connections. Check the batteries. Clean the engine water heater. Spring steam and cleaning engine. Tighten molten bowls. Clean the crankshaft end with the clearance. Check the heat exchange of the zinc plugs annually as required, and check overspeed switch. Engine, other electrical components: starter, alternator, batteries, voltage regulator, switch gauges, and tachometer. On these components, these following manufacturers' procedures. All right, engine serial intervals are all hours and calendars: 250 to month, 6 months, 1500 to 1 year, 4500 to 2 year. All right, maintenance is the key of lowering operating costs of the diesel engine requires regular scheduled maintenance to keep it running efficiently. Maintenance schedule for the preventive maintenance for the easiest and least for the expense for the type of the maintenance department. For the maintenance department to do the work with the convenient time of the good maintenance schedule depends on the engine application. The actual operating of the environmental of the engine governs the maintenance schedule. For the suggested check for the sheet on the following page indicate for the sum of the checks that have to be performed more than often than the heavy dust of the other conditions using suggested schedule and check sheet. The maintenance schedule check sheet is distinguished with the guide and adequately experience the obtained with the established the schedule to meet the specific operation. A detailed list of the component check is provided through the several check periods. It also suggests a schedule based on given with the hours of the operation calendar time. The maintenance schedule should be the established sheet from the maintenance check with the sheet with the guide. The result will be maintenance of the program to fit the specific operation. The check sheet with shall be can be reproduced. Any of the printer of the person may be each with the check with the then indicated directly on the sheet with the operation has been completed, which is complete with the column under A and B and C, etc. Check is indicated that the engine will be readily with additional service until the next check is due. Storage of the engine for out of service. If the engine remains out of service, it is used and not immediately forthcoming. Special precautions should be taken to prevent rust. Contact the nearest Cummins distributor. Consult applicable shop manual for information concerning engine storage procedures. All right. Alright, maintenance schedule. The human diesel engine equipment number, the mechanical time, smart parts, order for the engine, serial number, the hours calendar, check the data performed, check the operative and report, check the engine oil for the level of the coolant, level of the oil bath cleaner, oil level of the visual inspection of the engine for the damage, leak for the loose, the fray belt for the listening unusual noises, pre-daily A check with the air cleaner with the clean, the pre-cleaner dust fan for check the restriction indicator, clean the change of the air cleaner element, change the oil bath and cleaner oil, drain air tanks, the drain water, sediment from the fuel tanks and fuel filters. B, check the repeat daily or weekly. Check each engine oil to check the filter for the oil full flow oil bypass fuel filter. Check the coolant with the check engine coolant with the DCA concentration added to make up the DC chamber the element with the check the oil levels and rotated hydraulic governor clean the chamber to the crankcase breather all except for the KT and KTA 2300 and 3067 model air compressor breather. Clean the oil bath and cleaner tray screen. C, repeat A and B. Check repeat A and B. Adjust the valve injectors. Change the oil and rotated hydraulic governor. Replace the android breather. Inspect the backside of the outer. Clean the oil bath and the cleaner. D, repeat checks A, B, and C. Cleaner and the calibrated injector fuel pump the and rotor to check in or rebuild and replace the following assembly. Turbocharger vibration damper the air compressor rebuild and replace the following assembly. Fan hub idler pump assembly water pump at the backside idler with clean chain for the crankcase breather with the KTA 2300 3067. Seasonal clean the fuel flushing the system with the replace the hose is required. Check the cold start with the thermal aid to clean the electrical connection. Check the battery spring. Steam cleaner engine tighten the mounting bolts to check the crankshaft at the end of the clearance to check the heat exchange with the zinc plugs annually as required. Other alternator generator starting exhaust brake, air compressor, electrical connection, battery, freon, compressor on these components with the follow the manufacturer recommendation procedure, maintenance procedure. Engine interval of the L hours, the chart made with the 250 hours or 6 months, 1,500 hours or 1 year, 4,500 years, 4,500 hours or 2 years. Maintenance performance record, the engine serial number, the owner name of the engine model, the equipment name, and the number of the intervals, the base of the kilometers. Check the A, checks mileage in kilometers. Check and other data with the actual mileage, distributed dealer location, so be an authorized signature. Alright, operation, construction, industrial, schedule, maintenance, schedule 1 and 2.